Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Welcome back to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. I'm Cynthia Davis.
And I'm Ardeva Vitalis. Now for this week's news.
Our intro music was performed by Doug Armitage of Brightwood Music in Netherlands.
This episode is brought to you by Hardt's Backhoe, the Backdoor Theatre, Brightwood Music, Gold Dirt Distillery, the Mountain Man Outdoor Store, and of course, the Mountaineer newspaper.
For our lead story today, we talked to Judd Kaufman of Gold Dirt Distillery about the return of live music and backyard barbecue at the Stage Top Pub.
I'm Judd Kaufman, owner of Gold Dirt Distillery and Stage Stop Pub. Just this past Thursday, we started up our backyard barbecue summer events, I guess you call it. They're behind the Stage Stop in Rollinsville. It consists of our Gold Dirt Distillery tent serving cocktails and spirit tastings, and you can get merch and bottles there as well. We also, most of the time, have Busey Brews food, a special presentation of barbecue from Busey Brews.
So what else is planned for live music there?
Soon, either this coming weekend or the next weekend, we're going to be starting up with some live music, and certainly going to put the word out to the Mountaineer and any other local publications and the worldwide interweb for our live music schedule. But we're going to definitely have some bands playing, especially on the weekends. And this will all be weather permitting, of course, but it's going to be pretty exciting. We have the area enclosed, sort of, by shipping containers. It's pretty well defined. And then we're going to be setting up a stage, small stage, just for some probably local musicians mostly. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Really looking forward to everybody coming out and having a good time.
Of course, we had to ask about the schedule as it was now. Here's what he said.
Well, we don't have firm commitments from anybody yet, but let's just say we've got a lot of the well-known local bands pretty interested in coming out. So I don't want to give any names before it's set in stone.
And here's what changed at Gold Dirt and the Stage Stop.
Well, at the moment, Gold Dirt's in full swing. Now that we have the backyard barbecue going, we have a tasting room once again. So that's pretty great. Thursday through Sunday, we're open there. And then Stage Stop, we're still doing construction. Been pretty difficult of late. We're working on some structural steel for the floor. I think I mentioned that last time. But it's just been very slow working with these contractors and whatnot. Everybody's busy and material costs are through the roof, and so we're being patient, but it's moving forward. Hopefully, at this point, I'm telling everybody, if we can have the building done and habitable anyway, usable, before it gets really cold up here, I'll be a happy man.
Here's where you can keep up with future plans and this summer's music in Rollinsville as well.
Stage Stop Pub and Gold Dirt Distillery on Instagram is probably the most up to date. Also Facebook, kind of the same info there. And also our website's linked to our social media, but that's golddirtdistillery.com, stagestoppub.com. So yeah, that's always the most up to date stuff. And yeah, you might look for Rollinsville. So we have another thing up and coming as well. There's a little brewery that's going to be popping up in about a month, maybe right around the 4th of July, called Howlin' Wind. So keep your eye out for that, too. Looking forward to a great summer.
Thanks, Judd, and we are too.
To the news desk.
The Gilpin County Democrats hold meetings on the fourth Tuesday every month from 7 to 9 p.m. The June meeting will be held in person at 466 Coyote Circle in Blackhawk.
Free COVID tests are available at the Netherland Community Center every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. No appointment or ID is required.
Al-Anon meetings will begin at 7 p.m. Thursday, June 24th, 2021 at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. The church is located at 224 East First High Street in Central City, and this is next to the Gilpin County Museum. This is an open meeting for friends and family of alcoholics.
Peak to Peak musicians and artists, we're looking for you. Would you like a feature story in the Mountaineer? We cover all news of the Peak to Peak, including business and artist profiles. We also offer features on our podcast, website, and social media. Right now, these are all completed through email with our journalist. When things open back up, it will be in person. We are your community newspaper. If interested, email publisher 1977@gmail.com and get on the list for upcoming editions.
The Mountaineer has advertising packets that include print, social media, online, and podcasts. Email mtnearadvertising@gmail.com for info on a marketing plan for all your business needs.
The Levitt Street Market is now open in Central City every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The market has several vendors offering fresh produce, pottery, jams, and jelly, JKQ, barbecue, and more. Stop by Central City to check it out. Dango is on sabbatical this week as he is busy playing some of everyone's favorite music.
Brightwood Music in Netherland will restring and repair your favorite stringed instrument. Brightwood Music also carries many lines of all your favorite mandolins, violins, guitars, cellos, mountain dulcimers, basses, and bazookies. Brightwood Music is family-owned and operated, and it's been a Netherlands staple for more than a decade. They're located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, Unit 109 in Ned, and you can always give them a call at 303-258-8863. Give them a like on Facebook at Brightwood Music.
Gilpin County is soliciting letters of interest to serve on the Gilpin County Planning Commission to review land use and land subdivision issues at monthly meetings. There is one position available. The term will end on December 31st, 2021. There is an option to request appointment to a new 3-year term beginning January of 2022. All members must reside in Gilpin County. Letters must be received by July 1st, 2021. For more information, please contact Deputy Clerk Sharon Kate at 303-582-5214, or you can email her at scate@gilpincounty.org.
The Colorado State Gilpin County Extension is conducting a community needs assessment in order to better understand the pressing issues facing Colorado today. The short 10-minute survey is designed to gather information to help the CSU Extension tailor programs and services to serve the unique needs of each community. They want to hear from every corner of the county for this one, and a variety of responses will best inform the Extension's programs and services moving forward. Complete the survey online by visiting extension.colostate.edu/community survey. The survey closes on June 27th, so be sure to fill it out before then. For questions or more information, contact the Extension office at 303-582-9106 or learn more at gilpin.extension.colostate.edu.
For our final story, we'll hand it off to a new correspondent, Jamie Lammers, all about the Backdoor Theatre.
On the weekend of March 14th and 15th, 2020, Netherlands' Backdoor Theatre was supposed to play Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's brand new comedy, Downhill. Unfortunately, the movie had to be cancelled. COVID regulations were becoming much more strict as the virus spread more across the country, and the theatre was closed until further notice. On the weekend of May 28th and 29th, 2021, the theatre finally reopened. showing a screening of the Disney live-action remake, Mulan. Here to discuss the reopening of the theater is Guy Falsetti.
My name is Guy Falsetti. I'm Vice President of the Backdoor Theatre in Nederland, Colorado.
So the Backdoor Theatre recently reopened after a year of not being open because of COVID regulations. What's the behind-the-scenes process been like in getting the Backdoor Theatre back to reopening?
It's actually been 14 months. Behind-the-scenes process, I would say, I classified into three things: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good things are we have fixed all the seats, we've power washed the theater, we've installed ionization in the theater, we've upgraded, or I shouldn't say we've upgraded, we've done the maintenance on the projector. Everything in the theater looks good. If you go in there, it looks probably the best it's ever looked. Every seat's been fixed. Sound system's been checked, so that's really good. Bad stuff is that, we basically have been without operations for the last 14 months, and so the town has been, graciously not charging us rent, but, now that we're starting up, the market has changed. And then that's where I really lead to kind of the ugly, is if you kind of look at what's happened in the theater industry over the last 14 months, a lot of stuff has changed with streaming, content delivery, distancing, and stuff. I saw a quote from AMC, I don't know, this was about 3 months ago. He says, just imagine a grocery store where you have to do all the protocols to keep everything distanced and things like that, and you have nothing on the shelf because no one's producing anything, right? So, the market's changed pretty dramatically. That's kind of the ugly. Now, we hope the good side comes out. The Backdoor Theatre is a great population, so we hope for that. And I have some, data on that too, if you're interested.
For sure. What data do you have?
I did a survey of the Backdoor Theatre population, or at least a Facebook survey, and I got a little over 100 responses, and considering the town's about 1,300 responses, and if you do, I'm 5% confident of this, with some of these numbers. Like, for example, why do you come to the Backdoor Theatre? No big surprise. 81% of it, 80 or 90% of the people come because it's close to home. 71% come to see first because that's our tagline. And then the interesting thing for me is 67% of people come to see, I'll say, Kayla's performance ahead of the movie. And that's ahead of ticket prices, concession stands, anything else. So, that's kind of an interesting show of why people come back to the movie and stuff like that. So there's a strong support for the Backdoor Theatre here in Netherlands, I would say.
Yeah, it's very clear that the theater as a whole is a very great place for community to come back, and it's great that it's being able to reopen. How was last week's reopening with the screening of Mulan?
I think we had, I counted 26 people in the Friday showing and 21 people in the Saturday showing. When you consider we're probably way below ticket prices for most of the industry around, that really isn't a great showing for turnout. You could figure out different ways, why that happened, but Mulan's been out for a while. It can also be streamed. The people that came were probably more going for the experience as opposed to seeing a first-run movie.
Sure. How did volunteering go last week in regards to the people that came to help volunteer beforehand?
Volunteers at NET are all fantastic. That's all I got to say. Everybody pitched in. We had a great crew, and all around. So, that was just good to see everybody getting together and stuff. It was Kayla's birthday on Saturday, so
oh my gosh.
We all sang our happy birthday. So that was nice.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday to Kayla. In regards to, because I also know that the Saturday matinee had to be rescheduled from last week as well. May I ask what happened there?
That was a technical problem. I don't know if you know Jim Dysinger. He passed away this weekend, and there was a memorial at the same time, and the few projectionists that were trained wanted to be at the memorial. So,
gotcha.
Nobody to project the movie.
Yeah, no. I think that was good for them to pay their respects. It sounds like in general it's starting to get into a good place in regards to just testing the waters and seeing how the reopening of the theater is going. What has been your experience, even before COVID, about how the community has responded to the theater and why it's such a special place in the town of Nederland?
I often compare it to the difference between major league ball games and minor league ball games. If you've ever gone to a major league ball game, you're going that to see like the big league players and stuff. If you ever go to a minor league ball game, generally those players are long gone, and then you're going for the experience. So what you see there is some type of something going on in the third inning, something going on in the seventh inning, specialized concessions, all those types of things. So I think the Backdoor Theatre has that ambiance going on. That's one. The other one is that if you look at it, we have done things that I consider are cult movies or golden oldie movies. So Rocky Horror Picture Show or The Big Lebowski is kind of what I would consider a cult movie, or a golden oldie is Arsenic and Old Lace. I thought we also did The Quiet Man. So those things kind of draw the community in a different way. So it's not a first-run movie, but, you know, it's a chance to get together with the family and see something in the end, or something that, you know, brings back memories, is I guess what I would say. So we're kind of debating that and how we might fit that in.
You personally most excited for now that the Backdoor is reopening?
Black Widow.
I'm sure everybody's finally excited for that movie to come out, that's for sure.
I've been waiting for that movie since December, I think, 2019. I was building trailers. I found some of my old work, and I had some old trailers built up for that. So it's been a little while since they've been teasing us for it. So, and I'm a big Marvel fan. So.
Oh man, that's true. I didn't realize it's been in the works for that long. That's true. Man, that'll be exciting now that that's finally out.
Just to say that, you know, thanks to the community, we appreciate everything. We hope to offer more stuff as things go on. But, you know, like after 14 months of non-operations, we've got some big challenges ahead of us. So that's, I guess, what I would say. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Guy, for joining this. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Jamie. And that's all for this week's episode of the Mountaineer Podcast. All editions of the Mountaineer Podcast are available on the website at themtnear.com.
Up this week's edition of the Mountaineer in print.
And go online to www.themtnear.com to catch up on more local news. I'm Art DeVitalis.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. Until next time, thank you for listening.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.